Welcome into a new sports podcast here at Plum Senior High School. My name is Justina Ricchini, and I'm joined by
Adam Smith.
And Mario Ricchini.
and we'll be talking about NFL and college football today on our first show. First, let's go through the roundup of all the scores from this week. First off, on Thursday Night Football, we had the Tennessee Titans beating the Green Bay Packers 27-17 in Lambeau Field. Derrick Henry with a big game there. And the Falcons beat the Bears 27-24. Cordero Patterson, big 103-yard kickoff return NFL record. He had a big-time game. Eagles narrowly passed by the Colts 17-16 in Indy, improving their record to 9-1. We have the Commanders beating the Texans 23-10. Taylor Heineke with a big game against the struggling Texans team. The Texans now sit at 1-8-1 on the season, not looking good for the Texans so far. And for the defending Super Bowl champion, LA Rams, they lost 27-20 to the New Orleans Saints. They are now 4-6 on the season, 3-7 on the season. They're really struggling this year. Matthew Stafford's been banged up all year, and it's not looking good for the defending champs. The Bills narrowly won against the Browns in Detroit due to the 6 feet of snow. We all remember the 6 feet of snow.
Yeah.
It'd be tough to play in 6 feet of snow. The Ravens beating the Panthers at home 13-3. They are now atop of the AFC North for the first time this season. The Bengals in second. The Lions shocked the 7-3 Giants at home, who are now 7-4. Lions 4-6 have won 3 in a row. Raiders get their third win of the season against the Broncos. Narrow win in Denver. And we have the 49ers last night blowing out the Cardinals 38-10. So our first segment today will be about the Cowboys-Vikings game. So obviously, last night, a couple nights ago, the Cowboys blew out the Vikings at home.
Yes.
So are we thinking Kirk Cousins is reliable or not?
I don't think he is. See, Kirk Cousins, in his last game, he had 105 yards of passing, only passing 12 for 23. That's not very good. But I think the real struggle is their O-line. Kirk Cousins got sacked 7 times, and that's just not for an offense. Yeah.
Christian Darrisaw, their leading left tackle, who's been very good this season, is out for the next 2 games with a concussion, his second in the last 2 weeks. So you look at the Vikings, they do not look very good right now, sitting at 8-2. They have a game this Thursday against the New England Patriots, which we will be picking later in our Thanksgiving segment.
Yes.
We're all excited for Turkey Day, so we got to get ready for all the games this week. But yeah, I think the Vikings are struggling right now. I mean, last week they eked out a win over the Bills at home. The Bills were struggling.
Yeah,
Then they play the Cowboys, and 7 sacks you said, right?
Yep, 7 sacks.
Yeah, so it's been tough for the Vikings to get anything going. Justin Jefferson, my fantasy team, I want to talk about fantasy team. My fantasy team struggled yesterday. Adam Smith beat me yesterday. George Kittle with the narrow victory there. So it's been tough. The Vikings really struggling. But how about the Cowboys?
The Cowboys
Their
had
defense is playing
very good. Their defense is very good, but I have to give a shout out to their O-line. Dak Prescott got sacked 0 times.
Yes.
Dak Prescott was also passed for 22 out of 25 completion with 276 yards. It's a very solid game, only 3 drop passes. And also Tony Pollard, 80 rushing yards and 109 receiving yards and
Good
2
game.
touchdowns.
That's a good game for him.
Very good game for Tony Pollard.
Yes.
Yeah, Tony Pollard had a good game too. He had 2 receiving touchdowns. No, not rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
2 receiving
Yeah.
touchdowns, and then Ezekiel Elliott had 2 rushing touchdowns.
Yes, he did.
I think Pollard's coming out to be the starter and Zeke as the backup.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Zeke is transitioning towards that backup role. I think, for Zeke, it's been tough for him these last couple years. Tony Pollard's been taking over most of the running back 1 snaps, and Zeke's been hurt a lot. He hasn't been playing his best.
He's not as reliable as Tony Pollard.
Yeah, that's the thing, availability, and that's the
Mhm.
thing. That's why Taylor Heineke's starting over Carson Wentz. He's been more available,
More consistent with his
more
passes.
consistent
Yeah.
every single week. So
Yep.
you look at the Cowboys, and they are consistent at the quarterback position. So they have a game this week against the Giants on Thursday night, another Thanksgiving game we will be highlighting. So 2 teams that will be playing on Thanksgiving this Thursday. We have 3 games. First is the Bills that are going to play the Lions at Detroit for the 2nd week in a row. That's a Detroit homecoming for them. 2 weeks in a row, 4 days, they get to play 2 games. So that'll be fun. Then we have the Giants at the Cowboys, the Thanksgiving Classic. You'll have you know, the long halftime show we all anticipate on Thanksgiving for
Yep.
Cowboys games, and then the nightcap, New England travels to Minnesota for what should be a good game. So, and speaking of, you know, shocking finishes yesterday, how about the Jets and the Patriots at New York, 10-3.
Holy cow.
Jets win
That was
on a
was-
kick on a, or not Jets win, excuse, the Patriots win on a kickoff return or punt return for a touchdown. I
That
mean,
was
that's crazy.
incredible.
That was great. Although
Welcome back in to the Plum Sports Podcast. We are now going to be talking about the Jets versus Patriots game Sunday afternoon. Patriots at home winning 10-3.
amazing finish.
Yeah,
Yes.
it wasn't amazing. It was a very, very defensive battle until punt return by punt returner Marcus Jones went for the touchdown, and the Patriots, that's all that they needed, 10-3 win over the Jets. And you know, the big question, is Zach Wilson the answer at quarterback?
I think he is.
I think he is too. He's very solid. Yes, he did not have the greatest game last week, but he's shown a lot of sparks of greatness
Yeah.
in his offense.
Leadership.
Yes.
Yeah, I think, you know, that is something we look at, leadership and stuff. And I mean, I'm not sure if you guys are much aware of the post-game press conference that he had. He went over to the mic and, you know, didn't accept accountability
Yeah.
for his play, basically shoving the defense to the side.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have some stats on that game. You know, Zach Wilson, many look at you said he's been playing well this season, which he has, except against the New England Patriots.
Yeah,
He's been really
yes.
bad against the New England
Yes, he
Patriots.
has.
9 of 22 for 77 yards yesterday. Only rushed for 26. The team as a total only had barely over 50 yards rushing.
Wow.
Yes,
I mean,
I know
they-
that because my fantasy team, I had James Robinson, their running back one that they,
Yeah,
that
that's-
they picked up.
that's
Only had
unfortunate.
1 point.
Mhm.
Same with Michael Carter, the other one who's splitting.
Yeah,
also
that's-
had 1 yard.
Yeah, that's unfortunate to have Michael Carter
1 point.
and James Robinson
Both
at
had
running
1
back
point.
this week. If anyone had those, I mean, when Brees Hall, I feel like Brees Hall was a big injury for that team.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when
set
he
back
went
the team.
down,
He set back the team a lot.
I mean,
Oh,
they
yeah.
were like 5-2, and then Brees Hall goes down. Now they've been 1-2 since. I mean, they really have struggled without, you know,
A dominant running back.
yeah, without Brees Hall running back. And you know, he's been a really good running back in
Oh, yeah.
college, and he came into the NFL, and we were all waiting for him to boom and see where he could lead. So, it's just incredible to see, you know, Zach Wilson struggle this bad. I've never seen Zach Wilson struggle this bad.
No.
He was really bad yesterday. The team did not play well.
Yes.
Only 1 field goal. I mean, if you're going to do that, you know, you're not going to win against the New England Patriots.
No,
Bill
you're not.
Belichick. I mean, there's not much you can do with that.
No.
So now let's move into our final segment, which is the Chiefs. The Chiefs versus the Chargers. I'm gonna get right into that. Chiefs win. They are now 8-2, 30-27 over the Chargers. Big time game from Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. I have a good question for you guys. Are they the best duo, wide receiver, tight end duo in the NFL history?
Yes.
I believe so.
Yes. I think last year, no. I think Tom Brady and Gronk still would have held that, but since Gronk is retired now, I think Mahomes and Kelsey is where it's at.
Yes, I believe.
You think? I mean, I think we're gonna have to see a couple more years, in my opinion, for them to be considered the greatest.
Yeah,
But I
because
think
Gronk and Brady, they were dominant together.
Yes,
but
they've
I think
so many
that
Super Bowls.
within a couple years, Kelsey and Mahomes will be the most dominant.
Yes.
do an NFL history.
Yeah,
I
But
mean,
the
I think.
question is how long is Kelsey going to be in the league still?
I mean, yeah, Kelsey is an older player. He's
Mhm.
you know, over 30 now. You know, with Mahomes being young. I mean, I'm sure Kelsey will want to play for another 5-10 years.
I would
He's
love
just
to
really
see-
good.
yes.
I mean, you know, the Chiefs. Everyone's been counting them out. You know,
Mhm.
people don't really want to give the Chiefs credit. You know, the
just because
Chargers.
they lost
Tyreek
yeah,
Hill.
yeah.
They lost Hill, yeah.
And you know, you look at Tyreek Hill versus Devontae Adams. Which team hurt more? It was obviously the Packers with Devontae Adams. You can see that
yes.
clearly. You know, Tyreek Hill was a good player, but the Chiefs got weapons. They got Juju Smith-Schuster, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. They just traded for Kadarius Toney as well. They have, you know, a better running back room now than they did before.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
in general they have a better, well-rounded team than they've had in years past.
Yes.
Before it was just like 2 guys. You know, they got
Uh-huh.
to the Super Bowl with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
They lost
Mhm.
because they didn't have any other options.
Yeah.
When they won, they had a more balanced attack on defense. Their defense has struggled a bit this year, but look at the Chargers. I mean, they really have struggled.
They really have.
Yeah.
5-5, they have one of the best defenses, money-wise, in the league with
Mhm.
Khalil Mack, Derwin James, Asante Samuel. I mean, they really have a great defense, but they just can't seem to win.
That's one of those teams I've expected to be one of the top in the NFL.
Yes.
But they really fell short.
Yeah, they really have fallen short these past couple weeks. You know, Austin Eckler, great running back for the Chargers, but we all obviously know that both, you know, teams, you know, have had, you know, their fair share of struggles to start the season. The Chiefs last year struggled to start the season. Now the
Yes.
Chargers are struggling to start this season, but we are at the halfway point. 10 weeks in,
So everything could
so
change.
yeah, so we still have 8 more weeks to go, and there's a lot that could change in these next 8 weeks. But you know, I want to also get your opinion on one of the, you know, when we look at divisions, does the NFC West or AFC West still the best division in football? Is it still the best division in football?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
What division do you think is the best division and why? Adam, what do you think?
I'm not sure.
I mean, I would say the AFC East.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and the NFC East. I mean, the beasts of the East, they really have been dominant all year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the AFC East with the Patriots, the Jets,
The Bills, the Dolphins.
yeah, the Bills,
Yes.
Dolphins, all 4 teams above 500, 2 games
Mhm.
above 500. Same with the Commanders are 6-4.
Yeah.
Sitting at the bottom of the division. You
And
have
the-
the 7-3 Giants, the 7-3 Cowboys. You know, you have the Eagles, the number 1
Mhm.
team in the league. So.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a good year for those 2 divisions, but again, going back to the Chiefs-Chargers topic, it's going to be tough for the Chargers to get back any footing. The Chiefs now have a 3-game lead in that division
Yep.
over any team. I mean, the Broncos and Raiders have not been good this
No,
year.
they-
They've
No,
really
they-
been good. So it really is just the Chargers that have a fighting chance to get maybe back in the thick of things. So
Mhm.
we'll see if they can turn it around, and that'll be the end of this segment. Here on the Plum Sports Podcast. Now we're going to be talking about our hometown team, the disappointment, the worst team in the city, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, the
I'd argue-
Pirates.
I'd argue the
The
Pirates.
Pirates.
I'd
I
argue
mean,
the
I don't know
Pirates.
about that. I would feel like right now, if we're looking at the 3 teams that are rebuilding, I mean, not the Penguins, they're not rebuilding yet, but I think the Steelers are the worst team right now in terms of success this season. So it's just small sample size.
Yeah.
But, you know, me and Mario were at the game on Sunday watching what was a false hope. TJ Watt back. He had an incredible interception in the 20-yard line, picked it out of Joe Burrow's hands. He
Just
thought
like we
things would
want.
turn around. But really, the problem with the Steelers this year is that offense. Matt
Oh, yeah.
Canada has been
Yes.
atrocious as an
Uh-huh.
offensive coordinator.
I agree.
Hasn't been able to call plays in the second
Yes.
half.
Mhm.
Yes.
You know, you look at, you know, they had 20 points in the first half, and they were only able to muster, 3 points for the first quarter and a half in
Yep.
the second half. I mean, the defense has been able to, for the past 3 years, to carry the team, and the offense has been able to do nothing. And, you look at first-year cornerback Kenny Pickett, and he was a high selection in the draft in the first round, and you wonder if the best offensive tackle was on the board. I mean, we don't know obviously who that tackle would have been since we didn't draft him. But
Mhm.
should the Steelers have maybe drafted a different position?
Yes.
I think so too.
I think that Pickett, if you look at Malik Willis, he was a higher draft prospect than Kenny Pickett on the draft board. But I really think that if Steelers really want to pick it, they should have waited to the 2nd and 3rd round. We could have got a better player in first round, which would impact the team a lot better.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Steelers should have gotten, a better player then, but, shoulda, coulda, woulda. I mean,
Yeah.
we can only move on from there. But you really, not even the offensive, struggles, but let's look at the defense, the cornerbacks. They gave Joe Burrow was cooking on Sunday night. He was really just firing it off. He had one of the best games of his season, and the Bengals are at 6-4. The Steelers 3-7 are dead last in the division with the Browns.
Yeah.
Something the Steelers are not used to, obviously. Mike Tomlin not used to. Do we think, in general, do you think that the Steelers are gonna look at Mike Tomlin and think about, I don't know if he's not on the hot seat right now in terms of being fired right away, but do we think in the next couple of years Mike Tomlin will consider, they might let him go just because, the success has dwindled?
I think that this year is a disappointment for the Steelers, but one season is not going to kill a coach.
Yes.
Especially of a coach of his caliber. I really think he has a lot more to give to the Steelers, and I really think he'll be really good in years to come. But
I mean,
if more bad seasons come along, I think that it will be time to fire
I mean,
him.
I think if you have to look at the sample size, I mean, these last couple of years, would you rather have a coach that goes 9-8 every single year, or go to the Super Bowl twice and make the playoffs maybe a couple other times? I mean, it really is hard to argue against that. But like, do you really think? I mean, Mike Tomlin has been good for a while, but at this point, we don't know who the problem is. I think the offensive line is the main problem. You fix that first, it changes a lot. But also, you look around the league. Brian Dable is the coach of the New York Giants. 1 year they're 7-3, and they were like 4-13 last year. So does one coach make a difference?
I think it does, because like bringing a coach in can change the whole atmosphere. As I've experienced with my football play, is one coach can change a lot of things about the offense, players' morale, anything like that can change a whole offense in a whole different aspect of the game.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with the Seahawks as we move forward. They struggled, now 3-7. We'll see if their abysmal season continues, or we get to experience more and more and more success.
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna have a high draft pick or not? We'll see.
I have a question for both of you real quick.
Yep.
Do you think that we could bring the season up since we have a pretty easy rest of the season?
I think so. Yeah.
I think so, yeah. I think Pickett will develop into being a decent quarterback. It's just he doesn't have enough time to throw the ball. And our offensive line has really been struggling, especially with very good defensive line like the Bengals. And I just think that we just need to give him more time to throw the ball.
Yeah.
All right. That's the end of this segment. So for college football, any college football fans out there, the college football selection show will be tonight. One more selection show to go after this one. And then the rankings will be announced and the top 4 teams will make the college football playoff. They will be expanding to 12 teams in the near future, but 4 teams will be in for now. And, you look at some of the main scores from this week. TCU survives a near upset in Baylor, 29-28 with the last-second field goal.
Yeah.
Same situation with Michigan, last-second field goal to win against a very feisty Illinois team. Notre Dame blew out Boston College. They're now number 13 in the country after being unranked for a couple weeks.
They're looking pretty good.
Yeah, they are looking pretty good. Notre Dame, everyone hates Notre Dame, but, they somehow find a way. So we'll see how they finish. Penn State blew out Rutgers. No surprise there. They'll continue on their march to hopefully another 10-win season. In the past 5 years, they're third, hopefully in the last 7 years. Ohio State narrowly escaped Maryland.
That was a close game.
Yeah,
Yes,
close
it
game.
was.
All Penn State fans pulling for an upset there, but to no avail. North Carolina gets upset against Georgia Tech. And the big one, Tennessee gets blown out by South Carolina, 63-7.
Was not expecting
No,
that.
it's
Not
not at
expecting
all.
that, so. If we want to talk about the college football playoff, what do you guys think your top 4 would be right now if you were one of the committee members tonight?
I got to go with Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan. I would like to put LSU in there, but I mean they've got 2 losses. I got to go with TCU. TCU's been looking
I have a
solid.
different opinion. I think it's going to be Georgia number 1,
Okay.
Michigan number 2, Ohio State number 3, and then Tennessee number 4 because they pulled up the upset against Alabama, who was ranked first.
Yeah, but Tennessee did lose this week.
But
I don't think they'll still be number 4. But I
they
think
still have a chance.
you look at the college football landscape and USC with a big win against UCLA this week. So if TCU slips up along the way, and again, I don't think they will this week, but if they're able to slip up in the Big 12 championship game and lose that game, I feel like USC will be in at number 4. But the thing about college football that's a lot different than the NFL is it's all about impression. Do you make an impression on the committee? Do you blow a team out that's really good? Do you really – I mean, USC's never done that. They've always kept their games close
They
with their
have,
teams.
Yes.
But, and you look at a team like LSU, they beat Alabama. They
Yeah.
had a couple losses
LSU
to
could-
Georgia. They
Yeah,
Good team.
LSU could still make it.
I mean, it would take a lot for them to make it, but I think TCU right now they haven't impressed a lot of people either. They've really been lucky
They
to
really
some
have.
degree. The lucky
Yeah.
frogs.
Oh, yeah.
And been pretty lucky. So I think college football wise, I think the top 4 is going to be shaky this week.
Yeah,
but
it's gonna be a toss-up.
we'll see. And also, we want to shout out the U.S. Men's World Cup team that's in Qatar right now playing in the World Cup.
Yes.
They did draw yesterday 1-1 against Wales, but they're back at it Friday against England, the powerhouse.
Mhm.
So we'll see if they're able to pull through with some wins. And any Thanksgiving picks before we go for this week? We got Lions and Bills. What's your prediction? Let's go around the table.
I'm gonna go with an underdog. Bills have been a little shaky lately. I'm gonna go with the Lions.
Oh,
He's going to
I'm
pull
gonna
it
go.
out.
I think
I'm gonna go.
I think it's gonna be a close game, but the Bills are gonna pull it off.
Yeah, I think the Bills are going to pull this one out. I think the Lions have been a good team so far, but I think the Bills are going to get back on track.
Yeah.
They won big a couple years ago on Thanksgiving. I think they'll do that. So real quick, Giants, Cowboys.
I gotta go Cowboys. They've been passing really consistent. Yes, I think Saquon Barkley's gonna have a really nice game, probably a 2-touchdown game, like 100-some yards. I think he's gonna have a really good game, but I think Dak Prescott's hot right now.
I have a different opinion. I think the Giants are going to win because of Saquon Barkley. He's going to have a big game, lots of rushing yards. The defense won't be able to stop him.
Yeah, I think it'll be a really close game. I think this will be the best game we've seen on Thanksgiving in years. I think, you have 2 powerhouse teams that are never powerhouse teams at the same time.
Same record, too.
I think the Cowboys are going to pull out a close win. I think the Giants have been really good so far. I think they'll make the postseason, but I think Cowboys pull this one out. So final game, New England at Minnesota, the nightcap.
I gotta go New England. I
New
think
England.
New England is really good. I think their rushing game is really good. They have 2 really good running backs, and I think they're gonna pull it off.
The Vikings, they had one bad game, but they're going to get it back up.
Yeah, I think, the Patriots are very good at outdoor games, so the Vikings are going to win indoors. I think I'm going to go with the Vikings. I'm going to go with the limb here, 35-10.
But you have to take into consideration
It's prime time.
Kirk Cousins prime time.
I mean, yeah, you look at Kirk Cousins
Look at
prime
that.
time, but there is always a time when you break the streak. So I
Yes.
think that's going to happen this week.
Yes.
Thank you all for watching the Plum Sports Podcast from all of us here. Thanks for listening, and we hope you have a good Turkey Day.